Guys, Lachlan from FAE Australia Pacific, down here in sunny, not so sunny Melbourne at the moment. Wanted to make the most of being down here to record a couple of walkthrough videos. So today I've got a BL1 EX in front of me. We're going to pretend one's an EX and one's a VT. Bear with me, use your imagination. It's YouTube, magic, fairy dust, all the above. Okay, so if we start at the top, work our way down. So BL1 stands for bite limiter. As you can see on this side, that is the back side of the rotor. You'll see these shark fins here, bite limiter. We'll get into that in a minute. One being sort of entry level-ish. So BL0 is sort of your 2.5 to 4.5, 2.5 to 5 ton sort of option. The BL1 standard, so the BL1 EX 75 will be your sort of 5 ton option, 5 to 8 ton, but realistically we try and aim for that sort of 5 ton mark to get the most efficiency out of it. BL1 EX VT, we're pretending this one's the VT, that's sort of your 5 to 8 ton option, depending on the amount of usage, as well as depending on size of digger it's going on. So, main difference, EX is our 25cc gear motor. So it's one line in, one line out, no need for a K-strain, just plug and play. Working flow rates, you're looking sort of 60 to 90 litres a minute. 385 kilos off the top of the head, that's without a head bracket, so at about 40, 50 kilos for the head bracket. And then you're looking at, you've got 14 teeth on the front, you've got working pressures of 180 to sort of 250 bar, and that's again based off not having a K-strain on the unit. If we compare that to the VT version, your flow rate is looking at sort of 65 to 140, and your bar or your pressure pushes out to 350 bar as well. So same number of teeth, same size rotor, same cut capacities, all that sort of thing. It's just you're going from a 25cc gear motor, which I didn't mention, to a 55cc variable torque, variable transmission. It's mainly variable torque really, but other guys refer to it as variable transmission. So if you hear that, that'll be relevant to the both. But yeah, 55cc VT hydraulic piston motor, so you need the K-strain. Now, depending on configuration, again, starting at the top, working our way down, if you've got a tilt hitch on your digger, or you don't, either or, if you've got a tilt hitch on there, obviously you're utilising that second auxiliary line, which will mean you've got one line, 2 hoses, or 1 circuit, should I say, to spin the rotor, but you've got nothing for the hydraulic hood on the front. So there should be, depending on configuration, a hydraulic ram just here that'll open and close your hood for you. We can 4 hose in the EX model or 5 hose in the VT model and control that hydraulic hood with a second auxiliary circuit if you've got one and you're only running a quick hitch, or if for some weird and wonderful reason you've got rotating grapple saw on a 5 tonner, you'll have a third set of lines or circuit as well. So if you don't, however, we've got what we call the control box, which is an electric over hydraulic variable displacement, an electric over hydraulic control box. Basically you've got a 2-stage switch, open and close, or you can use a little 2-stage little black toggle switch that you get in most 4-wheel drives and you can get from your J cars and whatnot. Put that down your cab, just open and close your hood there. So just engages a diverter valve in there, takes a 15th of the flow away from obviously the main flow and makes that happen for you. So normally, and this is one set up for it, you've got your line, that'll run to, we supply an amp seal line in our kit, which is on the shelf back here. This sits in your cab, as mentioned, we just refer to this instead of the 2-stage. You've got either drawing power from a battery and or cigarette lighter to the amp seal line, out your cab, down your boom, down your dipper, down your dipper, into what is the line just here. If we make our way a bit further down, as mentioned, you've got a hydraulic hood that goes on the front. We can do it with a manual hood, we can take the hood off altogether, you can buy it with a hydraulic hood, you can take the hood off yourself, you can plug the lines, doesn't void any warranties. Personally, when I'm talking to end users, we're talking about supplying with a hydraulic hood, and then they can take off and plug the lines if they really want to. You're going to limit your suite of services if you don't have that hood, but there's certain guys that don't. If you're an end user that wants to use it on his own property, just a private guy, use it once in a blue moon to clear his new acreage, you don't need the hood per se. But again, if you're trying to resell it further down the track, you're going to limit your ability to resell in the broader market you've got. Let's say 1 in 5 guys don't want the hood, 1 in 20, 1 in 25 guys are going to want the hood. So you can always put the hood back on, good to go. What else? I'm just trying to work from top to bottom. You've got obviously this big lump of steel just here. That is what we call your hydraulic thumb bracket, or if you guys refer to it as the rake. Me personally, I prefer to call it a rake because it's not a thumb bracket per se, but that's what it is technically in our spec book. So basically, we don't allow a thumb option on our BL1s. So we supply the rake that either A, you can pull your vegetation away from the fence line, you've dropped some timber, you want to spin it around. Instead of using the housing of the mulcher, you can use the rake. For the guys that do have a 5-tonner or an 8-tonner and they've got a thumb on their dipper already that they normally utilise with a bucket, same scenario here. You can obviously pick up your veg, move it, do whatever you want to do. After that, on the opposite side, our transmission here, it's trapezoidal belt transmission. That's just behind that setup there. I suppose I haven't touched on the head bracket. We make the head brackets locally here in Australia for the Australia Pacific market. We use hardwood forest products a good 99.9% of the time, unless customer chooses otherwise. That typically takes 5 to 7 business days to get made up. We obviously get your pin centers and ears from either the end user yourself or through our dealer network, depending on how the unit is being sold and how the communication's being undergone with the quotee, for lack of a better term. What else are we looking at? So we've got your grease points, I suppose, for maintenance. Let's look at that. You've got 8 hours and you've also got 40-hour grease points. Then there is a service schedule that breaks down on, I think it's the 3rd last page of the user manual. User manuals are in these little plastic cylinders at the top. The skids on the bottom half, again, just thinking of consumables, skids on the bottom half are replaceable. A couple of bolts, drop them off, put new ones on, bolt them on, good to go. The shaft is completely replaceable as well, so it's interchangeable Hardox forged steel shaft. After that, pretty well covers you off. Then we sort of get down to our teeth and I suppose our ground engaging tools, to lack of a better term. You've got the BL blades that come standard on this unit. So they're kind of like a knife edge axe style blade. So they come to a point. They don't fare too well against soil and or rock. And for that reason and that reason alone, we recommend obviously every week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, depending on how often you're using it, come in with an angle grinder, grind them to a point, sharpen them up, good to go. Typically you're getting about, we've got 14. You've got 14 on the rotor, so it's not going to take you forever to do. If you don't want the blades, now the blades will do really, really efficient cutting on grasses, lantana, timber, bit of everything. Like they'll do everything really, really well. They just don't last as long as obviously these carbided tipped hammers, or C3 minis is what we call them for this particular size unit. They're carbide tipped, they're twin tipped units. I'm going to bring you in real close up there. Carbide, tipped, carbide. So the carbides, they will bounce off rock, they'll engage with the soil. They more shred your timber than anything else. They're about blunt force trauma. It's just hit whatever you're hitting, keep moving, don't stop. The blades are a little bit more refined, will give you a nicer finish, all that sort of thing. But it's not always what you're about, and we can appreciate the fact that they do consume themselves a little bit faster. So if you're chasing what is typically double the amount of life, it's normally double. There's a lot of variables involved, don't hold me to that. Typically, if you wanted to push them to their extremes, about double the amount of life out of some carbides. All of our units come with 2 years parts, 12 months labour warranty, and it is back to base. So that's why we run everything through an extensive dealer network around the country. If we can make that dealer within cooey of your property, it makes it easier for you. Rather, let's say far north Queensland, we're down here in Melbourne from a DC perspective, we don't want someone to have to send it all the way back here. So we'll engage with the dealer, we'll engage with the end user, we'll engage with yourself in regards to fixing whatever problems may arise and coming to a solution that benefits all involved. So again, it's about making sure that you guys are up and running consistently. I mean, downtime is money lost. So if we can make you guys that downtime as minimal as possible, that's the whole idea. After that, that pretty well covers us off. Cut capacity. Someone's going to ask what the cut capacity of these units are. And I dare say someone that's watched this far into the video has now gone, thank you for finally bringing it up. So, on paper, 120 mil. I've got customers that are doing more than that. I can't throw a figure on it, as I'm sure you can appreciate, but I've got customers that are doing far more than that. Depends on how you're attacking the timber. There's obviously a lot of variables involved. You know, angle to which you're attacking it, how much hydration is in said timber, if it's dead timber, if it's fresh timber, you know, if it's stringy stuff, if it depends on this type of vegetation as well. So there's a lot involved. On paper, 120 mil. You will get more out of it. It's hard not to say it, but you will get more out of it. I can guarantee you of that. I got sent a photo from one of our customers the other day. Yeah, he was extremely happy. He had just purchased a unit, based it off, you know, knowing he could do a little bit more, but wanted to properly test what he could get out of it. I was surprised. So yeah, I mean, there's a reason this stuff is R&D to within an inch of its life. There's a reason we've been doing this for 36 years. There's a reason we've got 400 staff members and 7 DCs around the world, and an extensive dealer network amongst that. So guys, any questions you've got, obviously reach out to your local dealer. We work with a good 99% of hydraulic dealers when it comes to this stuff.